We are live. Welcome to my video. This is going to be a spoiler-free review of the Marvel one-shot. A funny thing happened on the way to Thor's hammer from 2011. Now, there will be spoilers, but not for this, and only for MCU and adjacent that came out before this was first released. Let's see, I want to say it's rated like 9+, so will this video be. And yeah, I think this is a good to great piece of MCU. Now, I think it is very important watching this to place it in its proper context. This came out before the first Avengers movie did, and it is very much about kind of underlining something that, you could perhaps infer from certain things, certain pieces of official MCU media. But yeah, here it comes out and says there is more to Coulson. He is not just this suit that pops up at important times and talks to, titular characters from the movies. And I don't think I want to give away exactly what it does show. I'll just say it was at the time quite unexpected, and yeah, very welcome bit of fleshing out of his character. In the first Avengers movie, and this is not a spoiler, Tony Stark quips his first name is Agent, because originally Coulson wasn't really supposed to be more than just, and this was part of making him more. And yeah, it's filmed and edited well. It's very brisk. It's like 2.5 minutes, which is also part of why I'm not gonna, there's no need for the hard sell. If you're considering watching this, presumably you already have Disney Plus. I mean, don't get it just for this, obviously. But yeah, if you're a fan of the MCU, a lot of MCU stuff on Disney Plus. I'm not doing an ad. Screw Disney. They need to treat their workers better and take a stance against Trump. But yeah, originally the only way to access this, to watch this, was to get I forget exactly which, but one of the movies on home media. And let's see, yeah, it is not quite as important as the what's the word, the consultant, the other, yeah, the one shot that had come out before this one. And let's see, I think this was about the let's see, yeah, right, another part of this, Coulson had become a fan favorite after Iron Man 2, and Thor 1. So yeah, this was a fun little treat for fans, and it also helps tie together Iron Man 2 and Thor, taking place between the two of them. And yeah, it's just Coulson en route to New Mexico, to the crater site. We see at the end of Iron Man 2's post-credit scene, and then we see him arrive in Thor 1. And right, yeah, it's not trying to be epic or heavy, which was something, Marvel at the time was trying to make sure people knew, no, not everything is going to be epic or heavy. And I think that might be yeah, yeah. Since 2021, you've been able to, this has been on Disney Plus, and I think, I think this might. Yeah, there's more to say, but I think I'll talk about in one of the upcoming ones. No, I guess it is. No, yeah. Honestly, this is probably the least relevant of the one-shots, because I guess that maybe depends on if you think, because like apparently some sources refer to the Team Thor and what was the other one? Team something. I forget what the other guy is called, but yeah. Some refer to those as one-shots, and I intend to do a video talking about each of the Team Thor and the one other. I think there's only one other. Were there two? Anyway, it's probably going to be in one video, because there's not really anything to say about one of them that you couldn't already also say about the other ones. But yeah, it's not really necessary. Nothing happens here. You know, if you for some reason just feel like you gotta skip at least one of these one-shots, this is the one I would say to skip. You know, consultant, resolves a, seeming oversight plot hole kind of thing. Then we have two that sort of, weren't necessarily meant to be pilots, but ended up in, sort of serving as, because like Item 47 gave us Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and yeah, it's confusing, but the Agent Carter one-shot is just called Agent Carter, and that gave us the show Agent Carter. Then you have All Hail the King, which, yeah, it's, I don't know how much. No, I guess I won't go too much into detail about it in this one, but I'll just say there's something in there that is quite important. Yeah, I don't hate this one. I do think it is well made, and, Coulson, very important character for the MCU, so it is nice to see, something that does focus so much on him, and I do love the tone, yeah, I think that might be all that there is to say about this one. Yeah, I really appreciate how much this is just like day in the life kind of thing of just like, just going about business, nothing. It was Tuesday, like, it reminds me somewhat of the movie Dredd, the Judge Dredd adaptation, not the, the movie D-R-E-D-D, not the movie D-R-E-A-D. Yeah, the way that it is just, this is just the business, yeah, there's some great quips, and yeah, that is what I have to say about this one. Yeah, it is always nice when you get to see, Coulson and like just in general, like each time Clark Gregg pops up in something I'm watching, it's always great to see him.